In this video, I'm going to be super vulnerable and share with you my most hated cakes that I've ever made. And I know hate is a strong word, but it's just par for the course with cake decorating that we are not going to like everything that we make. And I was going through pictures not too long ago because I made a video of all of my favorite cakes that I love so much. And a lot of you said at the end, I asked if you wanted to see all the cakes that I made that I really didn't like, and a lot of you wanted to see that, so I'm making this video for you. Now, I've been making cakes for over 20 years, and I don't knock the ball out of the park every single time, and still, to this day, I make cakes that I'm not happy with, but I do have to say, every time I make something that I don't like, there's a lesson learned in that process that I figure out what I would do the next time to make it look better. So like I did in my top most favorite cakes, I'm going to list all of these by year. So we will start from 2009 up until 2024. So let's start with the first cake that I did not like from 2009. The first cake that I didn't like is these circus tent cakes. And not only did I have to make one, I had to make two of them. And the reason I hated these is because the pitch in the tent at the top was so annoying to do. You could see one of them's rounder, one of them's pointier. Getting those triangles up there and getting them to meet around the entire thing, like the whole thing was just a nightmare. I hated these cakes so much. I didn't like the colors, and I just had so many issues with these that by the time I was finished, I wanted to throw it out the window. And that's gonna be a common theme. Whenever I get angry and frustrated with cakes, I want to throw them out the window. But anyway. So let's move on to 2010, and this might not be a surprise, but my least favorite cake from 2010 is this stupid pregnant belly cake with a stupid foot, and I say it all the time, I hate feet on cakes, I hate body parts on cakes, and I hated the stupid pregnant belly with the foot trend. I have made some pregnant belly cakes that were pretty cute, but the foot freaks me out and I hate it. All right, I have three more cakes from 2010, and I know the lady who ordered this cake is probably going to see this because she saw my other videos when I mentioned this cake, and she's probably not surprised that this is in there. It is this stupid bumblebee car, whatever, transformer, yellow 3D vehicle nightmare that I hated every second of working on this. And I probably have made like one or two car cakes after this, and I don't like it. I don't like making car cakes. I don't like how this turned out. She's so sweet, and she's always like, we loved it. It was a great cake. I don't like it, and it's always going to be on my list of the top cakes that I hate. The next one in 2010 was a cake order that I took on that I didn't want to do, but I ended up doing it because they begged me to do it, and that always ends up in a cake that I hate. But anyway, it's this Citizens Bank Park cake. And what is this? It doesn't, like, there's so much wrong with it. Nothing is neat and clean. It's just a huge mess. And I had zero fun making this one. So that's why it's on this list. And the final cake of 2010 that I didn't like is this one. And you may look at it and think, it's really not that bad. However, he asked me to put some branches on the cake. I feel like the cake would have been fine without those stupid branches on the top, but that was my solution to adding branches to the cake. I freaking stuck them all in the very top, and it looks so dumb. Plus, I do not like that yellowy brown kind of poo color on there. Moving on to 2011. And there are three cakes from this year that I hated the most. And I know hate, and I said before, hate is a strong word, but just let me say hate in this video, okay? I disliked these cakes. Number one, and it's another Phillies theme, is this stupid Fanatic, and I've talked about it in so many videos. I wanted to throw this thing out the window. The arm was falling off. I used Buttercream, that grass tip, to get all of that buttercream fur on there, and my forearms were killing me, and the thing was falling apart, and I had to deliver it like an hour away, and I hated this cake. I had zero fun making it, just like the stupid Citizens Bank Park cake. Luckily, I've made other Phillies cakes that are really nice, but this one I hated. The next cake is this one, and it's a floral theme, and I don't know what I was thinking. The branches look ugly. The way that I did that flower border. The layout of this is horrible. The brown and the green, like everything about this, I just can't find anything about this cake that I like. And the last one is 2011. Is it even a shock that this stupid Minecraft cake is on here? Because I took on the order. I thought it was going to be simple. Oh, just put a bunch of squares. No. You need the squares to meet up at the very top, along the sides, around the entire thing, and it is a nightmare to do. I do have a Minecraft video where I attacked this theme again, and I slayed it this time. Do people still say slay? But anyway, I have a Minecraft video, and I will link that below, but this will rank in the top cakes that I hated to make of all time. On to 2012. And this year I had two that I hated the most. And the first one, surprise, 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 is this sheet cake with the stupid baby bums. And why do I hate this one? Because there's feet on the cake. Let's stop putting feet on cakes, please. It's just, this is so stupid and I hate this design. And then the final one of 2012 that I hated was this dinosaur wedding cake. This is a mess. The colors, a lot of these cakes that I don't like because of the color scheme. Harsh green, blue, and purple, like those are terrible colors. Not to mention all these little circle, like the design that I did on this one, I just think it's so ugly and I hate the dinosaurs on top. And this was before I started doing 2-dimensional figures, which I'm so much better at. But I thought I had to do 3D figures and I would suffer through the entire process. I just really don't like this cake. But it's what they wanted, but I still don't like it. In 2013, I had one that I really didn't like, and that is this Curious George cake. And I think the monkey on top, like he's really cute, that's fine, but I hate the way I decorated this. I think the problem, one of the main problems is there's no white in this cake. It's just primary colors, and I feel like it doesn't look good. There needs to be some white or something else to balance this out. I don't like how I wrapped the color. I did that weird pattern on the top tier. And then what are those ruffles? Like, what was I thinking? It just looks so stupid. I don't like anything about this cake. Oh, except the monkey on top. On to 2014. And the cake at the bottom of my list for 2014 is this Vera Bradley purse cake. First of all, Vera Bradley, the patterns on those purses are really detailed, and what is this? This is just a mess. I don't even know what this is. I mean, it was so long ago, but I didn't want to take on this order, but I did. I can't remember who it was for, but the piping all of these little flowers on here, and it's a mixture of fondant and buttercream, and the pattern is ugly, and I hate everything about this cake. In 2015, there was one that I really didn't like, and there's a reason I don't like this. It's not that bad, but here's the cake. And I just don't like the colors on the middle tier. And here we go. Something that I always say, I'm putting a big long message on a tiered custom cake, and let's just reserve the big messages for sheet cakes. Sometimes it doesn't look that bad, I guess, if you can work it into the design, but there's just something about writing a big long message on a custom tiered cake that bothers me, so I don't like this one. In 2016, there are 3 at the bottom of my list. The first one is this Great Gatsby theme, and I think one of the main reasons that I don't like it is because of the color scheme. It was peach, black, white, and gold. Horrible colors together. I'm sure I could have made it look better than this. Like the peach on the top tier doesn't match the peach on the middle tier, and I don't like the layout of this cake, and the whole thing just annoys me. The second one is this winery themed cake, and I don't like how the corks are. I don't like how the grapes have no dimension to them. It's just rolled up fondant balls. I don't like the letters on the top tier. It just looks like a very amateur design, and I can do way better than this. And the last one of 2016 that I really don't like is this one, and this cake is not a bad cake. However, the way that I did the name, his name is Chase, but it just looks like it says has. I don't know what I was thinking and why I did it that way. If I did the name differently, I would have really liked this cake, but because of the way I did the name, it's at the bottom of my list. On to 2017. And I have 3 cakes, and the first one is this naked cake. Semi-naked cakes were really big for a while, that you could see the cake through the icing. But they wanted these colors on the outside. I hate everything about this. I think the colors are so ugly. And again, it's the colors that they wanted, but I just don't like colored icing on the outside of naked cakes. The next one is this rainbow monstrosity. I don't know what the heck I was thinking with this. The way that the colors swirled together makes it look just ugly and drab. And what are these pearls on the top? Like, I don't know if they asked me to do it like this. I don't know, but I just don't like this cake. The final cake of 2017 that I did not like is this wedding dress cake. The color of the icing, I do like that plum color. However, they wanted a strapless dress on the front. And the way that it's decorated with those dragées, the way that it is just a piece of fondant cut out and it's not even draped on there. Like, look at the very bottom of the dress. It just looks like I cut fondant out and stuck it against the cake. I didn't try to wave it. I didn't try to make it look like fabric. And this design is so plain, I just don't like it. All right, I have 3 cakes in 2018 that I didn't like. And again, I'm going to show you a semi-naked cake. And this time, instead of the colored icing, they wanted chocolate chip icing on the outside of the cake. And I feel like it looks like it's crawling with ants. It looks so weird. Like, can't we just keep plain white icing on the outside of these semi-naked cakes and decorate with colorful flowers or something like that instead? The next one in 2018, and this is my fault, but this was a friend that I went to high school with. She ordered this for her daughter, and she wanted like a watercolor kind of theme in the background with the elephants. And the way that my icing, it didn't blend together. It just looks like a big buttercream mess. And the elephant might be a little cute, but I really didn't like this design. And the final cake of 2018 that I did not like is this glitter cake. I feel like I could have made this one look a lot better, but I can't remember how they ordered it. They might have wanted more glitter at the top and then for it to dissipate as it came down the cake. But it's just a mess. I don't like the pink and the gold together. Again, I feel like it needs another color to kind of pop. There's a little bit of white in this cake, but not enough. And I just do not like how this one turned out. On to 2019. And I only have 1 cake this year that was at the bottom of the list, and that is this one. And I remember they specifically asked me to kind of do buttercream dots on the top. That bottom tier is so pretty. Those petal ruffles, and I do have a video showing you how I make them, and that will be linked below. But the petal ruffles, they take hours to do, and it's so nice. And then the top of this just looks dumb, and I think that they had a topper to put on, but what's going on with that top tier? It just ruins this whole design. On to 2020. And it was hard for me to find one in 2020 that I didn't really like, but this one I will post because, again, I don't like how the coloring on the outside of the cake didn't blend well. I think I'm a lot better at it now, but I feel like it's too chunky and it should have blended together a little smoothly, a little smoother. Well, whatever, you know what I mean. All right, moving on to 2021, I have 3 cakes that are at the bottom of my list. The first one is this heart cake, and she gave me a picture of a cake that was very similar to this and wanted it to look like that. It was the ugliest. You ever get people send you pictures of the ugliest cakes you've ever seen and they say, I want it like this? And you're like, what are you doing? Why do you want this? But, you know, they're paying you to make a cake and you want to make it how they want. She was super happy with this. What is that? The colors are horrible. The writing is horrible. I just hate this design. The next one is one that I've talked about quite a few times, and that is this owl cake. Now, when she ordered this, she was looking at a picture of this cake, which is 2 smaller tiers. So the top tier has the owl on top, and there's not a lot of space on the top tier because it's a smaller cake. There's not a lot of open space, which makes it look better. So she said she wanted something like that design, but only 1 tier. And she wanted the owl to be brown. And I told her this is going to be a brown stump with the brown owl and the brown decorations. It's not going to look right. I will take personal responsibility that the airbrushing on the top of the tree stump dried a little too dark. If it were a little lighter, it would have looked better. However, I knew because the cake was bigger, the owl's going to be smaller, there's going to be voided space on the top of the cake, and I knew that it wouldn't look right. And when she picked it up, she didn't like it. And the final cake of 2021 that I didn't like is this cake, and I made it for one of my dearest friends, but the tiara on the top does not look right. And she saw this cake that I made and wanted something similar. However, I could not find that same tiara that I used, so we ended up having to use this one. And I just feel like the tiara, the height of the tiara does not look right with the rest of the cake. And also the way that I did her name, I don't like how I have the rose gold with the pink backing. I think it would have looked better if I just did the rose gold on that white background. It's not horrible. I just wasn't happy with the way that it turned out, especially for one of my best friends. All right, moving on to 2022. And I have 4 cakes that year that are at the bottom of my list. And we will start with this one. And she asked she asked for purple glitter on the top tier, and she wanted it to come partway down of the bottom tier. She asked for the black lettering on the bottom and that tiara on the top. This is what she asked for, right? This is what she wanted. It looks horrible. The way that the glitter doesn't come down, like the way that there's a straight line on the bottom tier where the glitter stops, that looks weird. The only black on the cake is on the board, and the color distribution on this is off. Like, you need to have colors in certain areas to balance out the design. This just looks horrible, but she loved it. The next one I just brought up in my last video is this graduation cake. Now, when she ordered this cake, she was looking at this one, which I said in my video of my cakes that I most love, and I keep doing this. And wait, I don't do like the cool way. It feels weird. I got to do this. But anyway, she wanted the cake like this, but in the school colors of the schools that she graduated from and is going to. And they are horrible, horrible colors. So she wanted this off yellow, greenish softball on the top, but a bright yellow and blue school for the high school and red and yellow for the college. The colors on this are horrible, and I just hate the way that it looks. The next one is this Lion King cake, and I have made quite a few cakes like this that are similar, that look really, really cute. And then she asked for Simba and those 3 characters. I haven't seen Lion King in forever. I forget all their names. But she wanted them out of fondant, and I do 2-dimensional figures so well, I couldn't get this one. I probably should have just printed out an edible image and put it on there rather than go with this monstrosity, like whatever this is. But she didn't say anything when she picked it up. I don't know if she was just kind of like it's okay, it's not great, it's not bad, but at least she didn't complain about it. But this ended up being one of the cakes that I hated, and I was so disappointed in myself. And the last cake that I didn't really like of 2022, do I even need to say any words right now? This is an unfortunate color selection, and the whole thing kind of creeps me out, and it looks really weird. That's all I'll say about that. On to 2023. And there are 3 cakes that year that I really didn't like. The first one is this 90s pattern cake, and I talked about this in other videos before. The white section is okay, but she specifically asked for it to look like this, and she wanted those specific colors and specific shapes in the different sections, and they had a topper for it. I just did not have creative control on this cake, and I didn't like the way that it turned out. It's not bad, I just could have made it so much better. The next one is this Wednesday cake, and the black in the edible image does not match the black in the fondant, and I don't like the way I did the airbrushing and the spiders and the layout of this cake. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been having an off week. The design is just lackluster. There's nothing exciting about this cake. And the final cake of 2023 that I really didn't like, and I made a video about it, is this cake. And you may look at it and think it's not that bad. However, this is nothing like what she asked me for. She wanted a pattern similar to what she had on the back of her cell phone case, and this looks nothing like it. So when I sent her a picture of the final design, she was really disappointed because it's nothing like what she was expecting. But I do talk about that in that video. And moving on to the final cake, and that was last year in 2024, I made this one, and it was a request. She wanted these big, huge dragées on there all over the place, and I could have made this look so much better, but again, I didn't have creative control on this. I had to make it the way that I was asked to, and this is how it turned out. Now, I have to say, I do not like all of the cakes that I make. Still to this day, after 22 plus years of making cakes, I don't hit the ball out of the park all the time, like I said in the beginning. Most of the cakes that I end up not liking, I do not have creative control on it, and I don't mind making a cake the way that I'm asked to, but I usually just tuck those pictures away and I don't share them, I don't post them until I make a video like this. But I do have to say this, and my mom is the one who helped me out with this. Whenever I finish a cake and I don't like it, I used to text my customer and say, I'm so sorry, this didn't turn out. Let me give you a refund, $50, $75, whatever it would be, because it didn't turn out correctly. And she used to yell at me for doing that. She said, send the picture to the customer first. Let them see the cake and then decide. If they don't like it, then you can work with them to find a solution. However, if you're just discounting cakes just because you don't like them, it doesn't mean that they don't. And most of the time, I'll say 95% of the time, they text me back, oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you so much. Because that's their vision. That's what they were looking for, and that's what I made. However, I feel like I could just make them look so much better if people would just put a little faith in me or allow me to work my magic. But again, even if I work my magic, sometimes I make cakes that look like this that I don't like anyway. And I've also found that when I feel burnt out, I'm not as creative, and then I end up making cakes that I don't really like. So it's very important to schedule in breaks. And I know if my mom were here, she'd be laughing at me right now because I don't schedule breaks. I just work all the time and never take vacations. But it is very important to kind of reset your creativity, which in turn helps me create better designs. So I think that's it. Which one did you think was the worst of my worst? I would love to know. Leave it in the comments below. And just a reminder, I have ebooks with all of the recipes that I use. I have my signature scratch pound cake recipes, my best Dr. Cake mix recipes, all of my buttercream icing and filling recipes, along with my favorite numbers and my favorite fonts. So they will all be linked below. And I do have a Cake Academy membership program where I can help you elevate your cakes to the next level. All of that information is in the description. Please like this video if you liked it, and if you're enjoying my tutorials, I would be so grateful if you could buy me a coffee. My link is down below. And I would love it if you would keep in touch on socials, and you can check out my website. And if you want to stick around, you can watch this video next and hit subscribe and the bell if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. And remember, it's cake. Sometimes they're ugly, but still have fun. I will see you on the next one. Bye.